Hi, how you doing? My name is Timothy Moore with the Success School, and I want to bring you this video on acquiring the vision. Let me tell you about the Success School. If you are watching this video, that means you might have a little bit of information about the school. So through this video and through the school, I want to teach you the basics of vision. I want to teach you how to master the vision, and I also want to teach you how to acquire a vision. And by vision, I mean a vision statement. And I also want to show you how to leverage a vision statement to create success for your life. So in this video, I'm going to teach first on acquiring the vision. So within us, there are three areas of our being that can inspire and motivate us in different areas. Psychology defines those areas as the id, ego, and superego. Christian theology also teaches this as the body, the soul, and the spirit. So I'm going to be teaching from a Christian theological standpoint, but it's really saying the same thing, whether you call it body, soul, and spirit, or if you call it ego, superego, and the id. It still has the same basic elements, and it divides human nature into three separate parts that have three separate longings, identities, and motivations. So I want to talk about that and tie that together on with acquiring your vision. So regardless of what ideology that you use or subscribe to, all of us as humans have experienced on some level three different natures roaring on the inside of us. And so I want to talk about that and how important that is in identifying the vision for your life. We have to understand, as I said before, that we're motivated and touched in each of the three areas of our mind, of our being. We're touched in each of those areas in some way, form, or fashion. Depending on what kind of environment you're in, those three areas can lead us or guide us or motivate us and inspire us. So let's start with the body, okay? The body. Most of us, no, not most, all of us understand the body. We know what this body can do. We know what this body feels. So it deals with the five senses, the body. The body is connected to the physical realm. Touch, taste, smell, hear, and see. Okay? Five senses. We connect with the physical world through those input devices. Just like a computer, telephone, in order to process information, you have to have an input device. So those are the five input devices that we have been given as human beings on the earth, on this planet, in this physical realm. Five input devices. Now, the body contains all of our natural desires and appetites, sexual appetites, our hunger, need for shelter, protection. Those are physical appetites, physical desires, physical needs. We're impacted in all of those areas in our body. Now, these appetites and desires, they surface and they sometimes begin to rage for fulfillment. I mean, they scream, these appetites. And so they can inspire us in a lot of ways. They can inspire us, they can lead us, they can motivate us, they can be in the forefront of our everyday lives and lead us. We can be so overwhelmed by our sexual appetite that we can't think about anything else but trying to fulfill and please that sexual urge, that sexual appetite. We have our hunger. We can be so led by the desire to eat. It can overwhelm us. We can use eating as entertainment. We can use eating when we're bored. We can use eating when we're depressed. And our appetite for food will just increase. Okay? That's how we are as humans. Okay? And as those needs become stronger, we in our will can get weaker to always give in to those appetites. We can get to a place where all we see is how we can fulfill the appetite. It's amazing. I mean, and if we're not careful and we allow those appetites to just rage unrestrained, we can get into a place where we're completely out of control. No restraint because the appetite is ruling our life. That's what happens within the body. That's the body realm. We can begin to see patterns forming when we're unable to control the appetite. We can see a pattern forming daily, hourly. Just we can see where our appetite is now in control. It's a horrible place to be. At the end of the day, what can happen is the appetite of the body can create a vision for your life. It can create an image. It can create a destination. It can create an end goal that is completely wrapped around and created by the appetites of the body. Okay, the next thing is the soul. All right. So before we move there, I want to have you do this. I want you to take a moment and analyze your appetites. Determine in your own life what is the strongest appetite that you have, and rate yourself on how well you manage the appetite. Okay? Rate yourself on how well you manage the strongest appetite that you have. Post your rating somewhere, write it down. Rate yourself between 1 to 10. 10 meaning you manage very well. 1 meaning you don't manage well at all, your appetite, or that area, your strongest appetite. So take a minute, reflect upon that. Next, the soul. The soul realm contains our emotions, our intellect, and our will. It is the place where our decision and our reasoning faculties are located, our logical processors. That's our soul. Our soul is the emotional realm. That's where our feelings and emotions reside within our soul. Emotions can be invoked through a variety of situations. We can get our emotions invoked. Someone can cut us off on the interstate. Our co-worker or our boss, they can say something that will just totally tick you off. Emotions will rise. Kids, spouse, significant other. So many different things can arouse emotion. If you are an emotion driven person, you are literally up and down, or you're susceptible to be up and down any time of the day, any minute, any hour. Emotion can hit you and you will just be in a different place because of that, emotion. It's a very unstable place to be an emotional person. For example, if you're an emotional person, you could literally just pack up and leave the city that you're in. Maybe been in for 2 to 3 years. Just pack up and leave because you had an emotional moment and you decide that where you're living, where you're working is not going to work anymore. And you can just leave. Why? Because your emotions were impacted, were triggered. See, that's an emotional person. Not even use logic, even though logic is in the soulish realm. But when you're emotional ridden, emotions will override your logic. Okay, it'll override your reasoning. It'll override your intellect. It'll override anything that could make sense to maybe a normal person. Okay, that's what an emotional person will do. Get mad at work and quit their job. Someone doesn't say the right thing, doesn't do the right thing. Your emotions are triggered and you just feel like it's not going to work for you. Why? Because you're emotional. And then the next day you'll wonder, why did you make that decision you make, and it was because your emotions flared up. Your emotions, you can have a vision based on your emotions. So if you're feeling an emotion of anger, okay, you're angry because of something happened, and now your future vision, what you see, is created from an angry standpoint, from a standpoint or a position of being angry. And so now you've created a vision and decided you're going to make certain decisions, you're going to make certain moves, make certain adjustments in your life because you are angry at that moment. And so now you have this vision of what you're going to do in the future because you're angry. That's where your vision can possibly come from if you are an emotional person. You can also have vision come from a place of logic and reasoning. Okay, so let's say, for example, that you're a super logical, super deep thinker, and everything has to have reason and point and purpose and knowledge. Okay, so that type of person, it sounds good, but the issue with that is we don't know everything. So if you build your vision based on the knowledge that you have at that point in time and place, that vision then is possibly flawed. It's maybe built on a false premise because you didn't have enough information to make a solid decision or create a solid vision, because the information you had wasn't enough to really make a clear decision. But because you trust in your knowledge and you trust in the information that you have at that time, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but because we're limited and you create your vision based on the limited information that you have, there's an inherent flaw in that, because as you learn more, then your vision will end up changing. So your vision can come from a place of information which can be partially correct, but not fully complete. So we have to be careful of that. So that's the soul. All right. And then finally, you can get your vision from your spirit. Okay. So in that place, your spirit is the part of you that is connected with the invisible realm, the realm of vibration, the realm of energy. Because after all, humans are only energy. That's what we are. We're molecules vibrating at a super high rate of speed that causes us to be at a certain frequency. We're energy. And in that place where there's only energy, we are moved and understood. We understand through vibrational energy and thought in that realm. That is where our Creator resides, in the realm of invisible thought, in the realm of the invisible. It's an invisible world. That's where our thinking is. And it's in that place that we have a inherent understanding of our purpose, our passion, our belief, our goal, where we want to be, what you see yourself. It's in that invisible realm. It's an innate place. It's a place that can't be understood by five senses. It can't be understood by intellect. It's only understood by vibration and by thought and by spirit. It's only in that realm. And we are spirit. We have that part of us, that spirit part of us. And when we allow ourselves to be quiet, to get to a place of deep meditation, we're able to comprehend and able to get message sent to us from our spirit, so that it goes to our soul and we can understand the message that is in the invisible realm that is tied to our purpose and vision. Hope that makes sense. That's in the spirit. The spirit just knows. The spirit is intuition. The spirit is when you know things and don't know how you know it. It's the vibration. It's the vibration of a certain thought that our spirit picked up and received that something may not be quite right. That's in our spirit. That's the intuition that's in our spirit. Sometimes we just know things. Sometimes we understand things. Sometimes we feel things and perceive things. It's in the spirit realm. It's in that place of super high vibration. Okay? That's the spirit realm. And that's where we can also get vision from. A deep place of invisible world, that invisible world. Okay? That is that realm. That is that place. So those are the three places or three areas of our being that we can get a vision. The body and its appetites, the soul and its intellect and emotions, the spirit and its deep vibrational energy that is produced upon thought. There's no time in that realm. There's no space in that realm. It's just now. It's just a place where there's no objects, a place of thought, just thought. And thoughts produce vibrations which impact and touch our spirits. All right? So you must have an understanding of that when it comes to acquiring your vision, because it is at that place, in those places, where we have to decide from where will we begin our life pursuit. Or not from, but to where. I mean, we're starting, or, we have to realize what motivates us. What motivates us? Where are these things coming from that are in our mind that we see? Is it coming from our spirit? Is it coming from our soul? Or is it coming from our body? Where is our motivation come from? Where is our inspiration coming from? We have to identify those areas. Okay? So now, final thing, I want to move into light. Very important to understand that vision is caused by light. In order to have proper vision, you must have light. In the mind, the light is information. And a mind with no information is dark. And it is unable to comprehend and is unable to see if there is no light, if there's no information. So in the physical world, our eyes, they utilize light as it bounces and bends off objects around us. The eyes receive the light through the pupil and as light impulses. The light impulses or the images are bent and sent to the retina, which acts like film. And for those of you who don't know what film is, maybe you're beyond, you weren't born at that time where you even use film. But film was what they used in those older cameras, and they actually put film inside the camera, and images were put upon the film when you snapped a picture. So the eye works the same way. It has a retina, which acts like film, and it receives those images. And the images then travel along the optic nerve as light as impulses that go to the brain, where they're translated and understood and processed as an image. The brain then understands what it is that just came into focus or view, the object in the physical realm. That is how vision works. And it all happens because of light. We would not be able to see without light in the physical realm. Light has to hit the object, and then we're able to see. Now, that same process works in the mind. The mind cannot see or imagine or picture without light. There must be information in the mind in order for the mind to see. The mind cannot see without information. In other words, if there's no understanding of what an object is or what it represents, The mind will not see it. And if the mind can't see it, then we're blind. If the mind can't see it, the mind must be able to see, comprehend, or have an understanding of an object. So vision comes into our mind through light. We're able to see objects through light. But we actually see outward because it is our mind that recognizes the object. And if the mind doesn't recognize or comprehend or perceive the object, then it can't see. The same way that objects won't appear without light in the physical realm, objects won't appear in our mind without information. There must be concepts, there must be thought, there must be words, there must be meaning, there must be definition in our mind. There must be those things inside of our mind in order for us to see. We can't see without concepts. And so we must literally understand that if we're going to create a vision, it starts inside our mind first. And when there is light, the limits on what we can see and perceive are destroyed. It's the light of knowledge that destroys the limits on what you can perceive and what you can see. The more information, the more knowledge, the more the borders and limits in your mind are broken and destroyed and are expanded because you can see, you can comprehend. The mind immediately begins to create possibilities of what it can perceive and see when there's information. That's those inputs. That's those inputs. The five senses. Those are inputs. Okay? Inputs into the mind that are processed. And in that level, our body can only process when we get our vision from the physical realm. Five senses: touch, sight, hear, smell. If we depend on those inputs to decide what we can see or what we can envision, we're limited. If we depend on those inputs to determine what's possible, we don't determine what's possible by our five senses. We determine what's possible by our imagination. We determine what's possible by our imagination. By the information that we receive, we determine what's possible, and we begin to imagine and we begin to create. That's how the mind processes information and begins to expand its borders of possibility. And we're able to dream and believe and say all things are possible. All we have to do is believe. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is vision, is acquiring the vision. We're acquiring a vision through information and through passion and through our belief. And we're creating in our mind what we see as being possible. Ladies and gentlemen, you must acquire a vision. See that vision clearly. Focus in on that vision. Use that vision as a guiding light for your life. Use what you see to leverage and to make decisions in your life. If it doesn't line up with what you see, then, ladies and gentlemen, it's not something that you should partake, because it goes against everything that you see. And what you see is the most important thing. What you believe, what you understand, what you've created, that is the direction that you need to go. So with that, I'm going to end this video on acquiring the vision. This is the success school where you create your success just on a vision statement. No business plan required. Just sight and vision of what you believe, and you can create your personal success. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Timothy Moore signing off from the Success School. Hope you have an awesome rest of your life. Thank you.